Sweet.
You guys don't have to write anything unless you want to try something. And if you want to try it, try it. If not, just watch. All right. Always, the very first thing you're going to do when you factor, we really haven't factored yet. Pulling out the greatest common factor is just the first step. Okay, when you factor, let's say you have 8x cubed y squared plus 12x squared y. What you're really thinking about, and I don't want you to show all this work, is 8, the factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. Or another way of thinking about it is 2 times 2 times 2. Either way works. The factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Or it's 2 times 2 times 3. Doesn't matter how you think about it. Let's look at these first, if you like this way. But this is what you're doing mentally anyway. What number divides into both of those? The biggest. 4. And that's how you get it. See, that's what they have in common, is a 4. Or, if you listed them, you'll see that the greatest common factor is 4. So, 4. Now, look at the x cubed and the x squared. It's always the one with the smallest exponent. So it's x squared. Now look at the y squared and the y. It's always the one with the least exponent. That is what both of them have. Look, 4 goes into both of the numbers. They both have at least 2 x's, and they both have a y. So now we're going to put a parenthesis, and we're going to try and get this back to what it was to begin with. Okay, how can I get a 4 to turn into an 8?
2.
Times 2. How can I get an x squared to turn into an x cubed? X. And how can I get a y to be a y squared? Now, what I would do on a test or quiz, guys, is I would write down mentally 8x cubed y squared. I'm good. Okay? All right. Plus 3
X squared.
No, you don't.
Now, if you put an x squared, you're going to end up with x to the
You
4th.
don't put
Okay,
X.
so just put X.
You skip it.
If you put an x, you're going to end up with x to the 3rd.
Just 3?
You just don't put any X's, right?
You don't put anything.
Okay.
Because 3 times 4 x squared y,
But what about the Y?
I mean 2, I'm sorry.
What about the Y?
It is.
It's
No, it
3.
is 3.
I
It's not a net.
Net.
What about the Y?
Well, I already have one.
Yeah.
3 times 4 x squared y. 12x squared y.
Okay.
If you already have a y and you only need a y, you don't put one here. Because, Andrea, if you're going to check them mentally really fast, look what happens when you multiply. You get y squared. It's too much. So there's no y needed. Okay? I'll do one more like that, and then I want to show you the binomials. People got messed up with that today. Negative 8x squared minus 10x. By the way, you probably weren't told this yet. Maybe your other teachers told you, but I didn't tell my class. The leading coefficient can't be negative. Here, I'll even make that plus. The leading coefficient can't be negative. So we have to pull out a negative. Now, what's the greatest common factor here? 8 doesn't go into 10. 2. Has to go into both of those. 2x. All right? 2x times what gives me that back?
4x.
4x. Let's check. Negative 8, x squared. Okay, what's the next one going to be?
2. Me 5.
Positive 5?
Yeah.
That gives me negative 10.
Negative 5.
Yes. Check your signs. Okay, now let's check it. Negative 8, x squared, positive 10x. We're good. Just a distributive property backwards. Yeah.
What's the CFU?
Oh, you mean because I had one in 6th period?
You did?
Yeah. You guys aren't going to get one tomorrow. We're not ready for any check for understanding.
Oh, but this.
What?
So you said the leading coefficient could be negative without
Can't be, so I pulled it out. This is the leading coefficient.
That's so freaking.
This one right here on this binomial can't be negative.
Alright.
when you pull it out, you have two factors. This is a leading coefficient is the 4. Can't be
I
negative.
get it now.
Alright.
Alright, we're good.
Now, what I did show my class today is when you have a binomial in common. Let's say you have 4x times x minus 3 plus x times x minus 3. Let's make that a 7. Never mind. There, that'll work. Okay, notice what do they both have in common? X minus 3. See it? X minus 3. Now what's left over goes in the other parenthesis.
4x plus 7.
4x plus 7. See? It's what's left over. Let's do another one.
Thomas Stoner.
Yeah,
Why can't you just put the same thing back in there?
say that again.
Why can't you just put the same thing back in there?
Here? You mean x minus 3? Okay, let me show you with numbers. If you have 6 times 3 plus 6 times 5, okay, that's 18 plus 30, that's 48, right?
Mhm.
You can pull out the 6 and write it as 3 plus 5. All I did was pull out the greatest common factor. That's 6 times 8, which is still 48. So what I'm doing is pulling out the greatest common factor. When I multiply this, Andrea, I get this back.
Okay.
If you don't believe me, I'll show you.
No, I didn't say that.
All right. What if there's no number there? Okay, what if you have 7x times x minus 4 plus x minus 4? No number here. What is the binomial in common?
X minus 4.
X minus 4. What's left over?
7x plus 1.
Yes, there's always a 1 there. Don't forget the 1.
Yeah.
God.
And then I don't know if did your teacher show you this one? If you have 8 times x minus 2 plus, let's make it 8x, plus 3 times 2 minus x. Did they show you that?
It doesn't work.
We can make it work.
Yeah, this
Isn't
is
isn't it negative x plus 2?
Yes, you can change it to negative x plus 2, but it's still not the same.
this is why I asked you in
And
class
then you
today.
multiply it negative, right?
He times 3 by negative 1.
Yeah, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you the shortcut. You take the x minus 2 and you go ahead and say, yeah, that's what's in common. What gives you the right to do that is your leftovers, instead of 8x plus 3, are 8x
Minus 3.
minus 3. All you have to do is remember to change that sign if you're going to flip these, and you get the same answer. You've got to remember to flip the sign.
What if it's a first, like, how do you know, what if it's a second number that you're doing?
Well, you want the x first. I think I know what you're asking. Are you asking this?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you got two choices. You could write 2 minus x down twice and adjust that one. Or what makes more sense is to write x minus 2, because that's the right order. Okay? This is the one, yes, it's negative 6x plus 5. You adjust the one that's next to the backwards one. Okay? I'm not going to give you that. Don't worry about it.
Alright, thanks.
The whole reason you were shown this is for this. Now this is true factoring right here. Okay. There is no greatest common factor. This is not a binomial or a trinomial. This is 4 terms When you have 4 terms, and you happen to notice that 2 of them have a greatest common factor, and these 2 have a greatest common factor, we're going to do something called grouping, you know? All right. Who do you have?
Kitchen.
So, we're going to group these 2 together and pull out a greatest common factor. We're going to group these 2 together and pull out a greatest common factor. You only do this when you have 4 terms. You don't do it any other time. 4 terms only. And you got to get good at this. We're going to do this and do this and do this until everybody can do it. What is the greatest common factor of just these 2? 3
X the second.
x squared, right? They both can be divided by 3, and they both have an x squared. Times, how do I get that back?
4x.
4x. How do I get that back?
3.
4x minus 3, right? Now, I don't know if Miss Kitchen shows this or not, but I'm going to. Now you can just write this again. Every single time. No matter what I put here, you can write it again. Okay? Now, how does this become a 20?
5.
Now we're back to 4x minus 3. 3x squared plus 5. That is factoring. If you can learn to do what I just did, you can factor anything.
Oh, that was easy.
This is the way this high school teacher in Anderson taught it to really, really low kids. I took his class on purpose and watched him teach it, and he said he's tried 100 ways. He taught like 40 years like I have, but I never taught factoring before, so I took his class. And he says this works for every kid can factor by the time he's done. So I'm going with it. There are other ways to factor, guys, but this is the easiest way. And I will show the other way for kids that can handle it, but you might want to close your ears when somebody's showing them to you because it might mess you up. Okay, let me show you another way. I'm going to take you one step farther that no one's done before. Let's see. All right, x squared minus x minus 6. Okay, we're going to learn how to factor today. We are going to turn this in. Now, there's no greatest common factor. We're going to turn it into 4 terms. Okay? It's going to be something plus something plus something plus something. I want you to look at the last number every time. First of all, you have to pull out a greatest common factor if there is one, and there isn't. 1 times 6 and 2 times 3 is the only way to get a 6. Agree?
Yeah.
It's the only way to get a 6. Now, which combination of this, either one, can give us -1? What can I do to the signs here? And when I add, I get -1. 1 plus 6? No. 1 plus -6? No. -1 plus 6? No. -2 plus 3? -3 plus 2?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't -3 and +2 give me the middle term?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Step number 1 is to pull out the greatest common factor. We didn't have one. Step number 2 is find the factors of this number that add up to that number. All right? So, here it is. We're going to write x squared, and instead of this, we're going to write +2x, -3x, and then just copy -6. Do you see what I did?
Yeah.
I took this and rewrote it as that. Look at that for a minute. All I did was take the middle term and turn it into 2 terms.
So it would be.
We're not done, but that's what I did.
Okay.
Okay? Do you see that's what I did? I took the -6, or you just think of it as a 6. It's 1 times -6. -1 times 6. It could be -2 times 3. It could be 2 times negative 3. Could be negative 1 times negative 6. Could have been negative 2 times negative 3. These are all factors of that last 6. But I'm taking the one that adds up to negative 1, and that was this one right there. Okay? Pretty soon you'll be able to do this mentally. You don't need to write all that out. So, I took this, put x's on them, and rewrote negative 1x as 2x and negative 3x. Don't they add up to negative 1x? Okay, now, somebody might have done this. X squared, and they might have written negative 3x plus 2x minus 6. Doesn't matter what order. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. 2 plus negative 3 is negative 1. I'm going to show you that they come out the same no matter what you do. All right. Now we can do what I said was grouping. What is the greatest common factor here?
X.
X times what?
X
Just this.
plus 2x.
X plus 2, right? Remember I said just write it twice. How do I get a negative 3 out of that? Negative 3x.
Negative 3.
We're done. X plus 2. X minus 3. Foil it and you get that original answer. My God.
So, like, will that be a problem?
Yes, we're going to do all of our factoring this way. Now let's say you chose this order. What's the greatest common factor?
X.
X.
X. How do you get that back?
X times 3.
All right, write it again. How do you get back to 2?
2.
Same answer. Doesn't matter what order you write them in. Let's do another one. You guys, if you can do this, you're factor kings.
We're Superman.
Isn't it going to get harder, though?
Well, the numbers will get harder. Yeah, the numbers will get harder.
It's just like the order.
Yeah, if you have them in the right order, and that's what happens to you guys. Sometimes they'll put them in the wrong order, and you don't notice it, and you get stuck. Okay, let me do another one. I can't just make these up, you know.
I feel that.
Plus 4x minus 21. X squared plus 4x minus 21. Okay, remember, we're going to split that up. So we're going to write x squared, and we're going to think of the factors of 21. 1 times 21, 3, and 7. Can I make any of those add up to a positive 4? I can.
How?
If you're looking forward to adding something to a positive 4, what you could do is times it by 2, like
No. I'm just going to change the signs to make them add up to positive 4.
Minus 3.
Isn't that positive 4?
Yeah.
Okay. So instead of 4x, we're going to have negative 3x and positive 7x. See what I did? Minus 21. Are we good? We're to get that middle? Once you can get the middle, you can do any kind of factoring problem. Now, when this gets hard, Tad, you ask, is when there's a number in front of this.
But then can't you just do the...
It's just a pain.
Everything in math is a pain.
Yeah, and if this 21 is a 96, think of all the numbers that make up 96, or all the numbers that make up a 60.
Well,
By the way, I have a list of factors of every number less than 100.
Yeah.
I'll give them all to you guys. All right, so now we're grouping. What's the GCF here? X. X, negative 3, right? Write it again.
Then you're going to put plus 7.
Plus 7, done. X minus 3, X plus 7. We just factored. And now how do you know if this is right? Foil it. You know, first, outer, inner, last.
You got it.
Now, I'll tell you what advanced math students do. They factor by guessing. They think of numbers in their head that multiply to make 21 that also add up to 4. Well, you guys did it. I just have to write it out. Negative 3 and 7. So you're done. Negative 3 and 7. So you don't really have to do all this work if you can do it mentally, but it's hard to. I wouldn't try yet. Maybe at the end of this unit, you can start trying to do it in your head. Okay, let me try another one.
Are you gonna have to do it in your head?
Never.
And like algebra 2?
In algebra 2, yes. Because you don't have time to do it this way. All right. We're thinking of factors of 25. That's the only ones I know. That give me 10.
5 plus 5.
5 plus 5.
9.
So x squared, instead of 10x, it's 5x plus 5x. Okay? Grouping. What's the greatest common factor?
X.
5x.
No, this doesn't have a 5.
X plus 5.
X plus 5. Write it again.
And then plus 5.
Plus 5. Now, do you know how fast you said 5 and 5?
Yeah.
You could have just done this. There's your 5 and 5. You don't really have to go through this process. If you can do that part in your head, you can just jump from this to that. You know, you guys that are putting a hole in my erasers, if I catch you, you're going to buy me a whole dozen, a box of them. Because somebody's doing it, and they're ruining my eraser. Just so you know. Yeah.
Party foul.
I know you think it's funny, but when we have no erasers and I tell you have to use your hands, you won't think it's so funny. Plus 2x minus, okay. We need a factor of 63. That adds up to what?
Oh, man.
50.
2.
No, 3 times 21.
Negative 7 plus
7
9.
and 9.
Miss Donor.
Is it
Wait.
negative 7?
Miss Donor. 3 and 21.
How's that add up to 2?
I'm not adding. I'm multiplying.
No. 3 and 21 gives you 63, but it has to add up to 2. Now, do you understand that you could stop right now and put the answer instead of all that step in between? Because you found it.
Well, why didn't you tell us that in the first place, Miss Donor? Oh my gosh.
It works.
You want us to show the work on the test?
No. But when the number in front of here is not a 1, and then you won't know how to do it without this other way. But when the number here is a 1, you can do automatic. Now I'll show you how we got that. Okay, x squared plus 9x plus, no, minus 7x minus 63. All we did was rewrite 2x as 9x minus 7x.
If I did this on a test, would I get points off for not showing work?
Oh no.
Oh, well.
A good math student will never do this. Once they see that it's coming out to that every single time, no, you will not get points off. And now the greatest common factor. In fact, I don't know why I just don't jump to that. And then just show you the grouping way when the numbers are harder. I don't know, we'll see what happens tomorrow. X times x plus what? 9? X plus 9. We need minus 7. X plus 9, x minus 7. That's factoring. If you can factor that, 90% of it is done. So what do we do? How do we screw this up for you? I'll show you how we screw it up for you. Instead of this, we disguise it with 2x squared 4x minus 126. It has the greatest common factor of 2. So you pull out the 2, and then you have x squared, 2x minus 63, and then you're going to factor that, and you just bring the 2 down for the ride. Okay? I know, I just threw so much at you, I can't believe it.
Yeah, your video kids are gonna be, well,
Yeah. But you don't all you have to do to know right now, okay, let's just do one more. X, now this only works, this is ax squared plus bx plus c. When a is 1, this method is very easy, okay? So let's do plus 9x plus 20, okay? What factors of 20?
4 and 5.
Give me 9. Positive 4, positive 5?
That's easy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't teach the other way at all?
No.
no, you should.
No, because that's more easier once you just
The other
find
way is
it.
like a check.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna do the other way. It may take longer.
The other way would be x squared, and this is
Yeah.
plus 4x plus 5x, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus 20. Then you find the greatest common factor, which is x. X plus 4.
Plus 5. Oh.
Yeah? And then you get that anyway. You guys, if you can factor, you're in good shape for a month. Yeah.